Hey everybody, clearing. All right, let's get into it. Today on the pre-shuffle, all I'm hearing is divine guidance. I even saw the Hierophant. So let's do it. What does the Twin Collective need to know that joins me here? What is the theme of today? Mystical Shaman and the Owl. Ooh, a 38 and a 39 card. What do we have here? Let's start with 38. Oh, I opened right to it. I love that. Okay. This symbol of the myth maker and storyteller. This is the symbol of the myth maker and storyteller who is neither made nor defined by the story. Instead, they observe it, evolve through it, perceive all aspects of it. In so doing, the mystical shaman represents the ability to dream a new story, a new myth into being. They dance between worlds, wearing the cloak of the world loosely around their shoulders, and sing the world into being. They remind us to be in the world and travel through it, but not to be defined by it or to become too attached to the experience. This is the symbol of true alchemy, for all elements of life have a spiritual aspect and a material one. When we remember this, all manner of miracles and manifestations are possible. So this is walking between worlds. We also have the owl here, which is a nocturnal between worlds kind of energy as well. Let's see what it says. The owl is the master of the night. She can see situations with perfect clarity, more so when it's dark, and is able to discern truth when others are sightless. She helps you to find your light and your lightness in the darkest moments of your life and to embrace the night as your ally. Owl can bring you messages from the invisible world. She opens your ears so that you may hear voices of the ancestors. Aho, grandmothers, grandfathers, and you may acquire their wisdom and make it your own. Look around you, notice every detail, and find the hidden messages brought to you by Owl. Do not shoot the messenger. Be grateful to the friend who shows you what you have not wanted to see until now. Observe all the facets of the diamond without judgment. Remember that the facets you dislike are often mirrors of the parts of you that you do not want to recognize. Do not be afraid of the truth, as it will become your compass. Okay, your truth is the operative word here. This is about walking as an alchemist, as a shaman, in your truth, doing things that you have not done before, going into uncharted territories as a beacon of peace. This is you walking through your life without the fear. I'm being guided that we're all going to be put into situations that are outside our previous comfort zone, or, things that have been discombobulated in the past. We're going to be given new opportunities to rewrite the energy of those kinds of experiences through this in-between worlds or of the other dimensions kind of energy. I'm going to pull some cards regarding the connections right now, the twin connections energetic card, and see where the masculines and feminines are at. Feminines on the left, masculines on the right. As it pertains to this in the world, but not of it kind of energy. Feminines are getting temple of perfected essence, divinity, honor, responsibility, and humility. The connection space, spiritualization of matter and reflected light. Masculines, impeccability, advancement, and loftiness. And the connection, portals, possibilities, and options. So we are really, becoming unlimited, boundless. And this means there are no boundaries. When we really love someone, there are no boundaries for that person. Because we trust, because it's warranted, because it's established and permissible, it's beneficial. And so there is this reflected light in both of the counterparts right now, where the masculines are becoming impeccable and the feminines are really understanding their divinity, responsibility, and this humility. Both are governed by the energetic layer of reality, and this is opening up brand new layers, portals, possibilities, options that have never been accessed before, because the material realm has heavily relied on logic, reason, stability. This is bringing in the spiritualization of matter between the two, and seeing that all the world is a stage and everything in it, we are here just to experience it without attachment, meaning not keeping ourselves bound to the suffering, the lower vibrational interpretation of anything in this world. We are meant to be wide awake as spiritual beings walking through this dimension. The confines, the rules, the regulations, the customs, the status quo, while we can respect that, that's not what it's all about here. So let's get some forward motion cards. What is happening next for the feminines? What are the feminines? They're pulling the heartache out. So I'm going to clarify this. How is this going to be noticed? Yes, letting go of this idea of abandonment. So feminines, you're no longer seeing yourself as somebody who can be rejected or abandoned. Your worthiness, your wholeness, your well-being is no longer governed by whether somebody says they reject you or not, or shows you that. You're impervious to that because you have a good relationship with yourself and you know that it is not you. Your conscience is clear, I just heard, because you love yourself. What can we see for the masculines with this impeccability? Something, wow, neutrality about the high priestess. So I'm hearing no longer running, but just in active observation through mercy, humility. We got, the pillars of the high priestess are mercy and humility, and the feminines are coming out in this with this term humility as well. So the masculines are seeing you maneuver through the world by the beat of your own drum. You don't play by worldly constructs, and they are now, instead of being afraid by that, I'm seeing like that owl imagery, the mystical shaman. I'm seeing you floating through like this high priestess, floating through their world, their environment, their psyche, as this extraordinary being that is not bound by earthly paradigms, that is timeless, that is magical, that is enlightened, that is awe-inspiring. And they are no longer running from that. They are now beholding, bearing witness to, you are an otherworldly being. You are not of earthly origin. You are divine. They are seeing you as unshakable, unmovable, and spiritualization of matter. They are seeing you as light, as consciousness, as a shining example of what is possible. And we are getting this possibilities, options, and portals. So masculines are believing in the magic here, feminines. You just can't make it up. So as far as these portals, possibilities, and options, what is ending this heartache and abandonment doing in the feminines? Look, ta-da! This is self-nurture. This is self-made, but in the energetic way. The feminines are, on my table, this feminine is facing away from the masculine. So it makes secondary difference what the masculines think or feel here, and everything to do about you coming into wholeness, divine feminines. And so this is opening brand new options for you, because you're no longer playing by the rules of social graces. That does not mean you're disrespectful. That does not mean you're harming anybody. It just means that you don't have that binding stigma over you anymore, and that things are speeding up with this rabbit. It's a game changer, because now you're at peace in your skin. You don't care what others think, or if they approve, or if they have something to say about things. And I'm hearing that's going to actually surprise you, because you're going to be pulled into a brand new way of being where you don't actually encounter that kind of thing. It's its own protection, I'm hearing. And you're just going to be able to relax and be yourself in every situation now. Wow, for the masculines, there's something of divine timing. There's something lining up because the masculines are in active acceptance of what they are witnessing, at least not running or rejecting. They have set divine timing in play here to overcome the devil. They are curious to see, and they are loving themselves enough to bear with it. So it's like really, really lovely because they are letting the divine timing run with this. Instead of their ego coming in and saying, I'm going to pull ranks here and try and micromanage and control, they are surrendering, and they are hopeful that that the fears are going to be proven wrong as they love themselves enough to say, okay, here we go. I guess this is it. They are literally getting out of their own way and not bringing those devil energies into things. I think they're very curious to see what will happen when they drop that and what will be there when they're not superimposing that layer into their reality and onto this connection. Okay, so let's get into what are the masculines. Actually, I'm going to do masculines and feminines. I'm going to do both here. So thank you, Divine Creator. What are the divine masculines thinking about the connections at this time? What are the divine feminines thinking and feeling? So I'm going to do one deck of cards for each. I'm going to pull on the themes that are playing out right now and then advice for whoever's watching. Thank you, Divine Creator. What are the usual energies to bring through for consideration today? And what is the advice we can take away from these particular themes? Okay, so conscious mind, deep psychic intuitive, like both are being asked to go deeper with their intuition, that owl-like energy, the nocturnal, the shamanic, into this unbounded, limitless kind of layer that does not conform to the contemporary rules and regulations, but looks at the eternal. What would love do kind of thing. For the masculines, we're getting Page of Wands. In the inverse, they're going deep within to stay the course, to be unnerved by whatever's happening in the connection right now, in the sense that they're remembering that this can be a productive, energetic, and spiritual atmosphere right now, that they can put their cares at the altar, so to speak, and have their eyes opened to what is possible here rather than constricting with fear. So whatever is happening in the connection right now, the masculines are basically checking their fear at the door and becoming more playful with whatever they're anticipating next. What are the feminines learn? Oh, here's that Three of Swords. So feminines, you're going deep within right now to pull these swords out, you know, societal imprinting, what you think your masculine is thinking of you, and what you have wrongly told yourself. You're being asked to very deeply release those painful sufferings. This is you transmuting with compassion, humility, divinity, honor, responsibility. You are filtering those hardships out of yourself. You're saying, these things are not life affirming. They have no business in me. And you are removing them and saying, this isn't loving. These suffering things are not made of love. There's a different way I can look at this. And you are saying no to them. You're voting them off earth. You are releasing them and saying, even if people look at things this way, that doesn't make it right. And you're saying, I don't have to be somebody that's hypnotized by that. I can look at things differently, doggone it. What is the collective being asked? Fifth chakra, communication. So supports our ability to communicate truthfully and clearly. So, you know, masculines, you're no longer representing fear through your actions and communications. You're now breathing deeply and letting it play out and challenging yourself to not go into the doomsday You're overcoming that fear and saying, you know what, I'm not going to predetermine what filter to use here. I'm just going to hold space and see what happens. And feminines, you're not letting fear represent all these sufferings. You're saying, no, I'm going to communicate that that's not my truth. That's not my reality. That's not the life I came here to live. Very, very good. What can we see for the conscious mind for each other? Ooh, Father of Wands. So this is the shining monogamous shamanic king. Both counterparts are looking to divine masculine right now to be in this transformed energy, this righteousness, this fidelity. What are the masculines understanding about this? Judgment. Their eyes are being open to what leadership, true leadership means. It doesn't mean it's not fun. It doesn't mean it's not charismatic. It doesn't mean that it's washed up or boring. It's authentic, it's genuine, it's strong. You know, snakes are a bit dangerous, so it's tantalizing, it's delicious, it's alive. Look at the electrical lightning bolt. It's got a zing to it. So masculines are realizing they can bring in that sophistication, ingenuity, what was it? Impeccability and loftiness. They don't have to be a lowly has been or something. If they go all in for love, they're seeing that they can be this extraordinary being. What are the feminines? Okay, so Three of Cups, friendship. This is joy, celebration, public gatherings, can be ceremonies, weddings, family events. So the feminines right now are not letting all of those social graces influence. They're dropping into their heart and really holding their own right now. They are prioritizing this number one as well. So this is third party stuff being condensed into the Two Cups, the Two of Cups, the two love standing. So feminines are eliminating a lot of social stigmas and a lot of other options. They only have eyes for you, divine masculine. And they're willing to cut through the crowds, cut through the stigmas, cut through the BS in order to just keep affirming that you are their choice, that you are a priority. And in some ways, your eyes are being open to the fact that you have not been targeted or stalked or creepily obsessed by your feminine. Your feminine has had divine guidance in choosing you, divine masculines, and they are staying the course. This is being illuminated. This is breaking through to the masculines right now, that this is a balanced love. It is an authentic love. It's not for show. It's not boastful. It's not ego-based. It's humble. We got that humility a couple of times. The only way that the feminines can keep receiving and being led by this love is if they are in humility. They are not doing any of their things with ego, or they would have disintegrated and fallen apart and been blubbering masses on the floor, masculines. So it takes incredible, I'm hearing Joan of Arc constitution to continue receiving this love and receiving it from higher guidance, receiving the instructions, being led forward through intuitive mastery. Masculines, you're feminine, you're seeing that. The masculines are seeing that their feminine can only be divinely guided here. There is no other explanation, and it's really coming to the masculines right now. What is the advice? Kindness reminds us to be considerate and wise in our interactions with others and ourselves, and to find the root of our love through our connection to source. Exactly. The feminines are demonstrating to the masculines that the kindness they're extending to the masculines and to the circumstances and all involved is direct from source. And the masculines are understanding that essence of love through also going to source and putting the burden on the altar and opening to what is really there, curiosity, leading them to see the love behind things rather than the fear. This is extraordinary. What can we see for the heart space, for the connections? Truth. Both are seeing this truth, this eternal love here, this perseverance, the demonstration, the unearthly stamina, direction, intuition, motion of the counterparts here is of otherworldly proportions. It is not of earth origin. And this is coming from the ethers right now, informing the counterparts deep on the heart space. What can we see? Justice. The masculines are feeling that this is a justified connection, that they are seeing this balance, this heaven and earth converging, this new way of looking at things, that this is ultimate justice. It's like revenge, I'm hearing. It's the best revenge because it is such a massive blessing, such a gift from the divine, that these connections are so next level and awesome. What about the feminines? The moon, the deepest nocturnal energies coming up to the surface. The feminines are following their deepest intuitive guidance here. That owl, shamanic energy. There's this deep internal compass that's leading the feminines through unearthly motions, I'm just hearing. What about on the heart space? Oh, instruction, divine feminine. So not only did we get that focus of divine masculine with the King of Wands, but now we have divine feminine. Supports our soft, receptive, and nurturing side, facilitating our intuition and intrinsic understanding of our connection to the cosmos, not the social graces, not the stigmas, not the rules and regulations and the fail-safes and playing it safe and control paradigms. This is the cosmic. I'm seeing the divine feminines floating, walking through a crowd and floating, because they don't confine to the laws of physics. And the masculine seeing that now, believing it. What about on the heart space for each other? The moon. So there are things that are about to be revealed for both counterparts. What are the masculines experiencing? King of Pentacles, the justification, the awakening that this is their counterpart. There is no uncertainty in these three cards. Justice, judgment, King of Pentacles. That's the hubby card, the commitment. This is the fidelity. It's being shown to them that this is the connection of all connections that warrants commitment. And the feminines, this is the telepathic, this is the energetic, this is travel, this is forward motion. This is the intuitive guidance, the energetic backing that the feminines are pulling from the cosmic depths right now to maneuver through these connections in the way that they are being guided to open themselves to love. The feminines are positioning themselves in utmost receptivity, which in a feminine sense looks like actions that position the feminines in places, spaces, times, alignments of receptivity. The feminine cannot be receptive if the feminine ignores their intuition and doesn't do what they're guided to do to get themselves postured or positioned where the divine is telling them to go. That may look like action. Sometimes we get it confused that the feminine reaching out or messaging or making a decision is masculine. No, the feminine must take the intuitive guidance that positions. We're not talking the feminine being in disintegrated masculine energy where they are through their ego and fears compensating and taking fear-based action. The true divine feminine does things so that the feminine can receive that which is coming to them. The feminine responds to the call of the divine and receives it wholeheartedly, positioning themselves in a motion of receptivity so that they can meet their manifestations, magnetize their manifestations to them because they have shown up to receive. It's like when you've won something and someone calls your name. If you don't stand up and go towards your name being called, you cannot receive your prize. And there can be all manner of blockages that stop us from standing up to go towards the receptivity of our gift from the divine in these connections. And if we withhold that, we don't receive. And so a lot of taking action on this journey might feel counterintuitive, but it's the rewriting of the ego-based action and coming into receptivity for that which we are being called forward to, feminines. What can we see for the wishes for these connections? Emotional transparency. What are the masculines experiencing? Knight of Wands. So yeah, this is the player card. This is the superficial kind of one night stand, hot and cold ghosting. In the inverse like this, it's deepening towards that monogamous, charismatic, alive connection. And so emotional transparency and emotional availability has been what has been blocking this from deepening. And now we're seeing this deepening motion. So the masculines are getting in tune with their authentic emotions. They're no longer denying this love, I just heard. And that's allowing them to stay there and interpret the feminine through the lens of love, not skepticism or ulterior motive or fear. And the feminines have Six of Cups, this reunion energy. This is not taking action on it, but positioning themselves to receive. And this is the emotional transparency the feminines are continuing to anchor, is that they would be denying their own truth if they don't take action on what they're guided to take. This is, again, not something that the feminines are bulldozing with, but receiving that instruction and heeding the call. And that is bringing the feminines towards this reunion, this union energy, but it is not causing them to try and fabricate it. There is a vast difference of discernment there. And if the feminine stuffs down their emotions and denies what they're being guided to do, that throws them into suffering. If the masculines deny taking action on the feminine's presentation, then that throws them into suffering. When they withhold, they experience the angst. So everybody is wishing to be much more mature and emotionally available here. What can we see for the actions? The World in the inverse. So there is a cycle that is playing out right now that's bringing highlight to the things that we are meant to learn from, that we will never repattern after again. We're not going to recreate the faulty dynamics, but we're in a cycle right now where we're seeing the ways of the world, the ways that we used to regulate connections and strategies and plays in connections, and now that's coming to a close, and we're reclaiming authenticity. We're reclaiming our right to follow our emotional guidance impeccably and to actually heed what our heart is telling us. We're giving ourselves collective permission to live openly that way, with our emotions in a balanced authority for our lives. What are the masculines experiencing? Queen of Swords. This is the karmic mother. So they're going to see through some of the karmic feminine. This is not just the karmic mother, but it's all the cutting, scary feminine energy that is basically the feminine in disintegrated masculine or in fear. So the masculines are seeing through the last layer of the facade here with overpowering, domineering, my way or the highway feminine energy, whether that's spoken or implied. The masculines are at the end of the cycle where this has power over them. So 2022 was a lot of mother wound healing. Now this is the conscious recognition of how that was playing out, because when we are free from something, in hindsight, we can now look at and take a good, clear look at what was actually a priority or not. Now the masculines can be objective about any of the misconceptions that they've had regarding what their mothers have demonstrated, what they've thought was the right way to do things, all that kind of stuff. The masculines are now seeing that it is their life with their karma, their choices, their accountability, and they get to make the decisions that are based on what their emotions are actually telling them, not what they fear feminine energy would suggest is the right way to do things. Feminines, we have the Tower. So there's going to be some kind of dodge a bullet, I just heard, not literally, but figuratively. It's like you're going to have a near miss, feminines, where you see the old fear paradigms and you say, nope, not on my watch, not at this stage of the game, not in my consciousness. And so you're seeing something that you would have done the same way every other time in your life. You're radically shifting it up, and there is an opportunity for you to do something unprecedented. You're going to approach your reality in a radical new way, which is going to close the door on the old cycles where you gave any fucks about what others think, and you're going to just do you in the name of love, in the highest, unapologetically. Boom, feminines, yes, it's up to you. This is a deliberate, it's up to me. I don't want to live with regrets. Yes, feminines. No regrets, no fear. This is the final straw, feminines, where you're showing up in the name of love. And if anybody has anything to say about that, that's on them, not you. Oh, that's a big deal. That is such a beautiful message. Okay, what is the biggest challenge for the twins right now? Communication? What's going on the masculine side regarding this? Four of Cups, missed opportunities from the past. They want to receive this cup of love. They want it to be better than ever. They don't want to hold off in this Four of Cups stunted growth level. They want to go for the 10 of Cups, and they are pushing through this. They're risking the fear of rejection. Your love has shown them there's nothing to worry about. They intuitively know this, but again, they are radically having to buck the systems of the past in order to bravely go forward towards this reunion. You know, between the 4 and the 6 of Cups, there's that 5 of Cups, which is the loss, grief, and mourning. So they've got to get enough gumption up to meet you in the reunion and risk like walking through the fire of the 5 of Cups there, or parting the Dead Sea, or whatever there. Like, they will have to risk it, feminines. And so they are opening their hearts to do that right now. Feminines, 3 of Wands. So you are in open anticipation of what's going to happen, whether ships are coming in or going out. You're just staying. There's staying power here. Feminines, you're staying the course with what you're guided to do, and only time will tell. But there is communication here. You're staying brave and open, I'm hearing, in the highest. So what is the solution to this stuff? Oh, wow. We've got union here. It's in the inverse. It's the 1111 upside down, or inverse. And so you might have been seeing 1111. I know I messaged people at 1111 in different time zones today, and they all gave me the feedback, and I hadn't even realized because it wasn't my time zone. So that's coming up in my reality for sure as a sign. What are the masculines guided here? King of Wands. So we saw the Page of, or the Page of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and now the King of Wands for the second time. King of Wands in the upright came for the connection. This is strictly on the masculine side, and they've all been on the inverse, ready to flip in the upright. So masculines, you are gathering this internal fire to step fully confidently into the shoes of the King of Wands. The full aliveness, the full authority of your life, the full embodiment of your divinity, of your higher permission to be you unapologetically. And this is what's bringing in union. You're almost ready there, masculines, to not give any fucks as well. And the feminines, the lovers, in the name of love. Everything in the name of love, feminines. Masculines, the feminines do nothing in this crazy journey out of ego. And it is so incredibly humiliating sometimes, you know, embarrassing, or we have to push through that cringe to keep showing up in the ways that the feminine is guided here. And so it's a perfect tandem effort. We're grounding this love, we're living that Tao, we are channeling it through. Masculines are becoming that King of Wands, feminines are anchoring this divine guidance in. What is the direction in the near future? Self-love, self-love, self-love. How is that showing up for the masculines? Strength, humility, they're taking heed. They are being served some humble pie. They see you, divine feminine. Who does that? Who is like you? Who can be so audacious? Like, they are just gobsmacked at looking at what you do and how you maneuver and how you just show up for yourself, your truth. Who can be that way? This is you know, mastery. It's so consistent. It's so embodied. It's so whole. It's so healthy. It's so wise. It's so beautiful. It's awe-inspiring. Feminines. Yes, you're living your best life. You're wishing with all your heart for that which you want. Da, 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 da. Feminines. You are manifesting heaven on earth. You are manifesting your reality. I'm being reminded about how the Dalai Lama said North American women, specifically, we're going to change the world. And, you know, that does translate throughout the whole world. But most of my viewers are North American women. And I would say this is one of the major contributions to that kind of emotion on the planet, is this self-empowerment that's coming through, divinely guided, divine feminines out there. Okay, that was a special message. I don't always just focus on that. Divine masculines, obviously, you are so important as these kingpins of inspiration for the feminines to follow this instruction, to roll this out through these connections. It's a joint effort. Gosh, the feminines love you, masculines. Like, oh, so I might get a puppy. I posted a picture on the community page, everybody. It's so adorable. Anyways, I put a call out for names. If you've got any good little boy lab husky cross names, I'm open to suggestions. One last card here. What can we see for the collective? The Tree of Life. What nutrients do you need to add to your soil to grow strong? The seed of the oak will not grow on barren ground or without the light of the sun. What dreams do you want to awaken to create a mindful destiny? Reflect on how you want to blossom, the kind of fruit you want to produce, and where you want to sow your new seeds. Be a conscious creator. Many blessings, everyone. Bye for now.